So if you go to console.aws.com, right here, you can go to create a new account. From here, I would recommend using your university email address. It will help to actually get free credit through the university. So I'll just kind of wait here, and for anyone who wants to start setting up their account, they can start going through the process.
Wait, what is the address again?
Yep. Yep. So if you go to console, then .aws.com. Oh my goodness, typing's hard. So yes, if you go to this website, then this is what will console.aws.amazon.com right here. This is one way to get to their web services login to actually create an account. You can just go AWS account here and just sign up. And this will take you to the same place. Right here. Yeah. So, can I see just by show of hands how many people are setting up an account right now? Alright, awesome. Yep.
It says select support plan. Which one should we choose?
To select what?
Plan.
Oh.
Basic plan,
Yeah, do the basic one, the free one. The other plans are if you say you want to be able to contact AWS directly and have them support you when you're doing different things. You will actually pay money for that service. So just do the basic plan. We don't need to be in direct contact with Amazon for any of the things we're doing. Yep, so we're just, right now we're starting creating accounts in AWS. So if you want to go to AWS and start signing up. That's fine. Yeah. And if it's a big issue with anyone, through the university, if you don't want to use a credit card or give them your credit card, you can actually create an account without it. It just will be a limited account, so you won't be able to do everything that AWS provides.
Wait, so we can create an account without providing a card number?
Yes, but I would recommend you just providing a card number, because this would be instead of getting your $100 free credit, you would get this limited accounts that you can create without a credit card. So if you, yeah.
So like you can't get the credit from like the AWS Educate?
Yeah, so if you do it without the credit card through AWS Educates, you will have the credit, but you would only have a limited set of services. As in if you create the account first and then did AWS Educate, that credit could go to all of their services instead of just the limited set that they provide.
Just put in the code. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
conversation.
yeah. That's one part of the authorizing your account. And this will be honestly the most painful part of this entire setup is actually getting the account. So as people finish setting up their accounts, if you are, would you mind giving me some indication that you're done or that you're not going to be setting up? Yeah. All right, so if we're mostly good, start to move on to the next part. And this is for people who have their account set up. If you don't, you can do this later. But go to awseducate.com. If you want to, you can go to /registration to get you to this page more quickly. This is where you'll actually get the free credit. So once you get to this page, you'll just click student and you'll fill out your information and the information about the university. For your email, use your student email.
Does that need to be the same email that's attached to the AWS account?
It does not need to be. It just makes everything easier if you have all your emails for your student account, all with your student account stuff. So it's just a recommendation. And so after you guys fill this out and go through all the steps that they provide, what they'll do is they'll send you an email confirmation. And then what they'll do is they'll send you an email with a promo code. And I'll walk you through how you can actually put that promo code in your accounts in order to get the free credit.
Try to take the minutes. Because you should have a list.
if anyone needs help, Sam and Kiet, who are sitting there in the back, have created accounts before. So just kind of motion to them, and they'll come help you out. Yeah.
What's the promo code again?
Yeah, so what the code will be is it'll be unique to you. Like they'll send you an email after they've kind of vetted the information you gave them with that code.
So nothing yet.
No. I think at one time when I set this up, I think they sent me an email a day or two later. I know when Sam did his, they sent him an email 2 minutes later. Yeah, so
So don't need one for now.
no. Well, everything we're doing is in free tier, so we won't even touch any of the money that they'll give.
So it's asking me if I says enter an AWS account ID or select an AWS Educate starter account.
Yes. So that's a good point. So the AWS Educate Starter account is what I was referring to when you don't need a credit card for an account. That's what that is, that limited. But once you've created an account, you can actually go right here, and you go to your name, my account, and then right here, it'll show your account ID. And this is what you'd plug in for that. And that's just your unique ID for your account. Yeah.
Do we just ignore the promo code and click next?
Yeah.
Like in this page. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we don't have promo code.
No. So
we need to complete this.
yeah. So for the promo code right here, this is if you had additional promo codes, which we don't. Don't worry about this field. They'll send you an email with a code for the credit after you fill out this whole page. Alright. And so people might not quite be here yet. You may not have the code at all. But once you do get the code, you'll go into your account right here. You'll go to billing. So you'll go to your billing service. And then if it's not showing up, you can just type in billing right here. Then from here, you go to credits. And then you see this is the credit I put in. Right now, I've spent 50 cents. Yeah, I've gone crazy, guys. And while we're here, I might as well show you my dashboard. So this is how much I've paid so far for all this account is doing right now is hosting 3 websites. So I've paid no money and am forecasted to pay no money this month as well. That's because when you first create an account for the first year, you are in what they call free tier, which is what they motion to right here. So everything that you do that is within the free tier, they don't charge you for. They only start to charge you once you go beyond that. And the prices themselves are pretty cheap. We'll actually go into that, and I'll show you guys the pricing system.
So what is in the free tier? Like a static HTML website? Can you actually run a server in the free tier? And what can you do?
Yeah. So when you go to here, if we go to AWS EC2 cost, and EC2 I typed in ECS. EC2 is actually their server. So with here, you actually don't get that free tier option, which is why one way you could actually run a website is through like having a dedicated server, but you'd have to pay for that, which is why that's not the route we're going. We're going for the cheapest route, which is, so what we pay for is the cost of the domain name, and that's it so far. So something we are very glad about. But yeah, if you're ever confused or if you ever want to look into it, just look up AWS whatever pricing. So this is for S3, which is where we're hosting the website from. S3 is just file storage, basically. So here they mention what you get for free. And then beyond free, this is the cost for storage. So I assume would be under 50 terabytes. So this is pretty cheap. We would be doing standard storage for the website. If you were going to put something in storage for a longer period of time, you would go to some of these options so that you get charged less per gigabyte. The only caveat is if you access it, like for Glacier, their access is 3 months. So if you access it before that time, you actually get charged an additional fee. But you don't get any additional fee for doing standard storage. Here are the fees themselves. For a GET request is getting a file. So per 10,000 GET requests, that's what? $0.004 per 10,000. To put stuff in, it's yeah. So, and if you're ever confused or ever want to go into it, they offer pretty good documentation for their pricing. Some of the stuff can get kind of complicated, especially when you go into their server pricing, which now some of the new things they have is per, I believe, per minute billing. They used to have per hour, so like if you ran a server for 5 minutes and then turned it off, they'd still charge you for a full hour, which people did not like. And so now they have per minute billing. But all right, so now that we've talked a bit about the pricing and the accounts, let's go into actually setting up a website. So for everyone who has it, they can come here to their main page. If you go to S3 here, boom, you can see these three are the websites I'm hosting. So when you're naming what's called a bucket, if you're naming it for a website, I recommend you do the actual website name, because bucket names have to be unique, because each of these actually have their own URL. So it's good practice to just name them whatever website you want. So let's go through the process of creating a bucket. So you do create bucket, and then let's name it www.umncloudexample.com. Alright, so it's unique, so it's good. Right now I just do it in US East 1, North Virginia, just by default. If you want to do it in a different region, you can pick somewhere else to have it. They have regions around the globe. And then everything else would be good to go. So then you can go through next, 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 and then create your bucket if you're going to create the bucket. So now that you have a bucket created, what you would do is, and I'll use this one as an example, the website for, so this is actually the website that we're hosting right here. This website is, all of it is right here. So in your buckets, in order to make your bucket publicly accessible, which is not by default, you actually have to go to permissions and then go to bucket policy. And this is the most coding, well, this is, I guess you'll have to write a little bit of HTML, but this is what coding would be involved to actually make the bucket public. What this is doing is, this is the version of their API. They version it by whatever year they last updated it. As you see, this one has been updated in a while, since 2012. This is just a statement ID, so you can have a couple statements within here and they wouldn't conflict. You can differentiate them. Effect allow means whatever action I say is going on here, I want you to allow it. If there are some things you want to explicitly not allow, you would just make this deny, and it would do the opposite. Principal, what this means is you're saying what you're allowing to do this. So in this case, we're allowing anyone to access, so we're saying star, which is saying anyone, everything can do this action. And then here's the action itself. What we're saying is, alright, in S3, anyone can get an object, which is why when you go to the website, it just loads in the files. But no one can edit them, you can't list the files, you can't delete any files, you can just get them and look at them. And the resource is what the target of this is. In this case, this right here is specifying that we're choosing an S3 bucket. This is the bucket name, and then /star means anything in that bucket people can get. And once you've made this policy and you saved it, then you'll have this little public thing show up here and here, and you'll see it here. That's just them warning you that it's public and can be accessed. If you have another bucket right here, which does not have that permission, so it won't be listed as public. This one could only be accessed through the account. So now if we go to one of these buckets, we just need to do one more change, and that is go to Properties and Static Website Hosting. You will click, yes, I want to host a static website in this bucket, and then specify what the name of the index document and error document are. What this means is whenever anyone visits your website, what it will load is whatever you call index.html. And if it doesn't work, then it will actually load error.html. And then once you've done that, you actually have your website. It's done at that point. And for example, if we go here, this is actually that's actually the website. Whenever anyone's visiting the domain right here, the humancloud.com, all that's doing is taking them to this website right here. So all the domain name is doing is actually just giving it a prettier URL, so people don't have to type all the nasty S3 stuff at the end. Okay, so once you're hosting through your bucket, let's go through how to actually add files to it. So right now this is my error.html. So if we go to the website and we go to a page that doesn't exist, go to hello, oh, there's an error, and it'll actually just display whatever I put in as an error.html document. In this case, I spent, I don't know, a minute on this one. Yeah. So if we, let's go back. Let's say we want to change something. So what now I'm going to change the guides page. And this is actually where I'll upload all the guides, including this screencast. So let's say I want to change this right here. Right here, this is what I have as the HTML for the guide pages currently. Let's add something, H4. Alright, someone shout out their name or something that we want to add to the site. Anyone?
Cody.
Cody? Cody was here. And so was Ben, apparently. Alright, so now that we've edited this document, we can go here. This is within the guides page. And one neat thing about setting your website like this is for every folder you have, you just put in another index.html document, and the website will just be that -guides, and that will take you there. So you don't have to add like .html to the ends of your files. So we'll go here, and we will click upload. Just add a file. We'll add the new index.html file, and we will upload it. And then right here we have one success, one good upload, perfect. And let's refresh, and here it is.
So do you have to upload every time you edit a file?
Yes, so every time you edit a file, you'll have to re-upload that file to have your changes be impact, because all S3 is file storage. All the things about hosting a website are all stuff they added to it just to make it more powerful. So then at that point you actually have a website and can put whatever you want up there. And so this is something extra that we'll talk about, is if you're, let's say you're hosting a whole lot of data that you want to just be given out for free, but you don't want to pay to actually be giving out the data because you're kind of just being altruistic here. You're giving people, like this would be an example if you have a big data set that you want to make publicly available, but you don't want to pay to make it publicly available. What you could do is do requester pays. So people could only access what's in the bucket if they pay for the cost of accessing that information. But for the website itself, that's not a route to go, because people would all have to register with AWS, which is not the first step. You want people. You guys saw how kind of painful it was to register for AWS. Imagine if you do that just to access a website. You would not. Alright. So now, let's go to how to actually get a nice looking domain name. So, I've used, and I use two different registrars. I use Namecheap and GoDaddy for actually buying domain names. You can go to either one. Set up an account. This one would also require a credit card, and this would actually be the only expense you would pay. And what you would do is, after you buy your domain, you would, let's use this as an example. So you buy your domain, you go to it, you go to Manage DNS, and then what you would change is this right here. So what a CNAME record is whenever you have one URL and you actually want it to point to a URL of a different name, that's what's called a CNAME record. You're kind of just changing the name of your website. So, and you do the value for it. The name is www. This means whenever anyone goes to www.umancloud.com, it will instead take them to our bucket that we have set up. And then the only other additional thing would be to forward all the traffic that goes to umncloud.com to the www.umncloud.com. So if you go umncloud.com, it takes you from here to www.umncloud.com. That's actually just the S3 bucket, which is why when we made that little change, it was able to automatically just show up the next time I refreshed it. Yeah.
Is there a reason to have www dot versus just umncloud.com?
Yeah. So the reason here that we have the www dot is because a lot of registrars, they like to have like the default thing for if you were gonna like do email through the domain and such like that. So they would manage that. So you actually can't have a CNAME record, or they don't allow a CNAME record that would go directly to the umncloud.com without the www. It has to actually go www.umncloud.com to whatever this value is. So in order to have it go to just a standard website without the www, that's why you need the forward the domain. Yeah. And you can actually see this if you go dig www.umncloud.com. This dig command gives you information about websites, their DNS records. So if I do this, it knows, okay, umncloud.com. That's actually, I should change the name when I'm routing the traffic to this website. Yeah. So with all that done, that's it actually. You have a website, you have ways to upload files and change the website. If you want to, you can have a nicer looking URL, your name for it. And yeah, that's it. So if you guys want to like create a website, it's kind of addicting, to be honest. I still need to like format this nicely, but this is my personal website. It has nothing, a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, but it's just really fun to just play with, especially once you've made one. It's pretty easy to just go through the same process to make more and more. And if you don't want to pay anything at all, then you just don't need to give it this nice name. You can just be this.s3 whatever, and it's the same thing for free. So yeah, if anyone has any other questions or wants to talk about anything, I think we're good to go.
People want some extra help.
Yeah, if anyone wants extra help setting anything up or doing anything, we'll just stay here and just kind of walk around.